this program.
It is now that part of the program when we shall
Unbox, 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 unbox.
What's inside the box? Hey, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, my time. Good evening, Oz's time.
That's right.
It's Brick. It's OzBrick. Actually,
OzBrick.
we are back here. Wait, this side. Oh yeah, that's a fisting. Leave me hanging. That's cool. Hey. I know it's always hard to figure out. There, you almost there. How's it going, everybody? It's really good to be back, as I've kind of mentioned in the different places that I've tried to let people know about the stream. It's been a little bit for me. I forgot where my camera is. It really has been a little bit for me. In fact, I think since the last time I did a live stream on this channel, I've kind of rearranged a couple of things, right? Had some house guests over here at Brick Something, and it was a great opportunity to tear things down, clean things up, and now rebuild. So we're trying it out. That may result in a couple of weird, wonky little tech issues here and there, so bear with us. And so we'll go from there. But anyways, how you doing, Oz?
Man, I am doing great. Good to be back on your channel, brother, and excited to be doing another unboxing. Probably one of the most anticipated unboxings that
100%.
I mean, you and I have been all over this thing since they announced it. Like, how are we going to get it? I remember that Saturday, you and I were doing a full countdown to it. I was working at the time. Now my boss is probably watching this and going to see that, but oh well.
Yeah, I've always wondered how that works these days with sort of being online and stuff. So I have a job where I go in, so it's not like I could ever. Well, anyway, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, yeah, and it's actually been a while since you've been on, so I'm happy to get to hang out with you. It's been a minute. I've been on your channel since then, but it's good to have you back here on this end of things.
I agree, brother.
So the last time you and I did a tandem unboxing was as OzBrick. If you were wondering and you didn't get to catch that earlier as the stream started, this is us, right? So switch things up a little. The last time I sort of did that tandem deal, you and I were Too Bad. We were opening Too Bad, and it totally made sense to like use some Skeletor magic and blend the two of us into OzBrick. And now OzBrick has been transformed once again by the forces of maybe like a Pigsy type or a bull demon. So anyways, because today we are absolutely looking at Sun Wukong.
That's right.
So super excited about that. First, let's check in with the chat. See, I sort of forgot how this all works. So let's check it. Let's check in with folks first and foremost. Super early to the stream. You know, he stopped in. Moti Origins Cork was here a little bit early. He's got, a huge time differential to deal with. So I hope he's getting lots of rest right now. We will catch you on the replay.
Absolutely.
Nolan, good to see you as always. He was also here earlier saying hi to everyone who was not yet here. Cobb, how's it going? Good to see you. Definitely check out Cobb's channel, folks. Got to support all of the folks doing great content. We're all sort of figuring it out and having a great time doing this together as a community.
That's right.
Thanos, glad you made it. I was actually, I don't know where were we? Oh, we weren't on a stream, but we were on our chat, right? When he texted and he was like, "Hey, I got it." I was like, "Hey, you want to open it together?" He's like, "Oh, he rushed it." He was just like, he got his box and he was like, boom. I don't blame him at all.
Can't do that toy unboxing edging that the rest of us have become quite adept at with hosting the channels and being like, okay, I gotta wait until. But it gets tough, man. I've been looking at this thing like all day, just wanting to rip into it, get that guy out there.
That's awesome. Yeah. We'll get there. On that note,
yeah.
I should rush through. Let's see who else. Axion, good to see you, Axion Figs. Had a great time over on Hella Dope the other night, and Axion was helping out running that show, which is awesome. Let's see. Ken Mas, Bud, good to see you. Welcome,
Awesome.
welcome. Dawning of a decade.
Hey, baby.
Good to see you once again. Another awesome content collector, moving her way through the different decades, talking about pop culture, all sorts of stuff happening. That's awesome. What decade are we on right now? We're still in the 80s, yeah?
Still in the 80s. There's a lot to cover for the 80s, so that's going to be a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. Let's see. Thanos, we saw. Good to see you again. Oh, I just realized we don't get the emojis here in StreamYard, do we?
No, that's a good point, because I keep seeing them fly up over here on the YouTube chat, but on the StreamYard chat, I don't notice them.
Yep. Shiny plastic people. How's it going? Good to see you.
Gotta love the update of the logo too for the month, man.
Happy Pride, folks. Happy Pride. We
That's
are having a great time with Pride up here in the Bay. There's this guy.
Oh man, watch out when that guy's in the chat.
And there's this guy, troublemaker. Here's Adam giving us super helpful tips. I remembered this time. I didn't forget. I remembered to hit go live.
And you got to hit it twice. You can't even just hit it once. You got to hit it twice.
See, this whole time I thought it was the go livey button, and I didn't know what that meant. And then my 9-year-old helped me explain it.
Kids always got this stuff figured out.
Going on 10. He's got a birthday coming in 2 weeks, and that's Block Something, folks, who you might have sort of heard on the channel. Block Something's turning 10, and Block Something may be getting some action figures for his birthday that he may want to share with you all here on the channel.
That would be amazing.
Who else? Duchess. Good to see you, Duchess. Ooh, Duchess is going to be unloading some new stuff today. Yeah,
that's
what
right.
What time is that dropping?
It'll be 9 p.m. my time, 6 p.m. your time.
So cool. Probably right around the time we finish up. Go check out Duchess and get creeped out a little bit.
That's right. Do a bit of channel surfing.
Fan Again collectibles. Oh my God. Fan Again is amazing. I got to sit down and talk with Fan Again like months ago. I think it was in March, and I have some editing to do. So Adam, highly articulated, if you think I'm slow with editing AWOC talk. Yeah, this is for a new show, Behind the Views, that I'm working on, but it's actually a much more dense sort of interview. So I'm trying to figure out how to weave that into a solid narrative, but it's super fun. I can't wait for it to be done. I'm sure he's probably like, yeah, so am I. Eldor, what's going on?
Hey.
What's going on, Eldor? We're going to be looking at some monkeys today. And let's see. I think I've gotten through all the folks. And at this point, folks, I'm just looking for names. Sorry if there's stuff you want me to bring up. Pains, good to see you. Aaron.
Always good to have you here, Aaron. Hey, Ron.
Present. And let's see. D-Nice. Hennessy. And I think that's it.
That should be it. I think we're all caught up.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. You're like, great. Yes, we know our names. Can you get to the toys already? And I absolutely will. So thanks again for coming through. We will be talking Sun Wukong in a hot second. First, allow me to sort of bring up, whoopsie, the unbox cam. So, happy couple things going on. Happy Father's Day to the folks. Right. I hope as a father myself, I had a wonderful Father's Day, and happy thoughtful Juneteenth to everyone as well. I hope that went well for you all. Keeping folks in our thoughts who unfortunately had to deal with some violence this weekend. Just want to name it. I don't want to ignore it, but power to folks. We'll get through this. And I believe we can get started. Yeah, any chance I can to show these two, because I think they're super cute together.
They really
somebody
are.
else did this. And so I totally stole that from somebody else. Okay, with that said, let's talk about the main event today. What do you got on your end that we're going to talk about today? What's your big pickup for this unboxing?
Well, normally I'll wait until Thursdays to talk about my pickup of the week. However, this could not be denied any longer by the time it showed up here.
And when did it get to you?
Finally showed up Monday.
Okay.
It was supposed to be here Friday. I was going to try to show it off Saturday, but when it said it was supposed to be here by Friday night at 9 and it wasn't here by 6, I was like, it's not going to make it. It hadn't left. It went from New Jersey to Maine. And I'm like, why is it going north? That is the opposite. But I try not to figure out how these other people do their distribution.
Traffic, man. Traffic.
Right. Got to go up to go south. I got no idea. Going all the way around the world approach, coming back up the other side, maybe. So
Monday, huh? Well, so obviously this is shipping from the Four Horsemen Studios out in New Jersey. Mine had to make its journey to the west. And so I'm pretty sure part of the reason mine took a little bit longer is because this time around, rather than just getting the one, and I kind of noticed like on the Cabal and elsewhere, folks who were getting one, they came a little bit sooner than mine did. So probably just the way they're sort of sorting through the orders. I opted this time to actually get 2. And well, it is absolutely worth it, but I'm not I mean, as much as I would love to have 2 with all the parts that we'll get into in a little bit, I actually decided that my brother, whose birthday is coming up next month, also needed some Sun Wukong in his life, needed some Four Horsemen Studios toys in his life. He's mainly a classifieds collector, along with some Black Series stuff and some Valaverse. But he was looking at Cosmic Legions for a little bit, and it's going to take a while. I was like, you know what, this is perfect. He needed one of these as well, so I'm happy that both of them showed up. Mine finally came yesterday. It was actually scheduled, according to FedEx, to show up today. I noticed that it showed up to its location yesterday, and I drove down there and grabbed it. So
nice.
All right, so let's go ahead and do our tandem unboxing. I should get a blade. So as we do this, let's talk a little bit about, you were mentioning earlier when this thing came out, we were kind of in anticipation. So for those who maybe aren't super familiar with the context, let's talk about that a little bit.
Right? One of the most well-known literary works of China, been retold in many different fashions, as a lot of people probably recognize it most for, it's weird to say it as Akira Toriyama's adaptation, but a lot of people got familiar with Sun Wukong from Dragon Ball Z, well, Dragon Ball rather. Depending on where you started that journey. So
Son Goku.
Yeah, Son Goku, what he's called in Japan. So this story has impacted my life ever since I was a little kid. And I didn't know as much about the book. My introduction was early on with actually cheesy old martial arts movies.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, man. And I'm loving this Nate Barch art all over this thing. And see, that's who I want here. We got to get a Demon Tiger.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I'm saying I hope they dive more into this. Now, I had sent you an actual scan of the words on the back. However, I still had the cellophane on my figure at the time. So there's this nice reflection of bald me with my camera on that. But definitely try to hold it up, possibly get a good freeze frame. Your camera might work better. It might come clearer, but just try to give people a little bit of look at that flavor text. They give you a pretty good description of the story.
Oops.
By far, it is a much more in-depth story.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I love that they opted to really, give us so much more information about this than their previous Figura Obscura releases.
Right.
If you weren't familiar, I mentioned this already. This is a toy by the Four Horsemen Studios. Four Horsemen being a really kind of legendary, if you will, in terms of their contribution to toys ever since they were working together as a part of McFarlane Studios, doing Spawn figures, then eventually branching off to do their own thing as a studio working for others by contract, right? They did work on Masters of the Universe, the 2000X toys, did a bunch of other toys along the way, but then eventually got a lot of people's attention when they were doing Masters of the Universe classics, none of which I have on hand at the moment. And then at a certain point, they started branching off to their own toys, which included a dip into anthropomorphized animals, right? Through Gothotropolis and I always forget the name of that other Seven Kingdoms.
Seven Kingdoms. I think
something
that is it.
Around there. Anywho, and then of course they gave us Mythic Legions, which obviously has obviously those who are probably in the chat or have heard us go on and on and on in our other stream together over on your channel, Legions class, Mythic Legions, and then Cosmic Legions. In between there, they started this whole other line that we didn't even know was a line up until its second release, right?
Right.
Which is Figura Obscura, which you're seeing now on my screen.
That's right.
The first release was Krampus during the holidays, during the Christmas holiday. A lot of us thought, oh my God, this is like an interesting kind of weird release. This is probably a one-off, huh?
Yeah.
Then another Christmas, we get Father Christmas.
Before Father Christmas.
Yeah, you and I have history with this figure.
Yes, this was the one that totally sold me on getting into what the Four Horsemen are doing now. Not that I didn't appreciate their work beforehand. I appreciated it from afar because I would always see those secondary prices and how much they were. So I stayed clear.
Yep.
But when they announced the Headless Horseman and I saw that figure in all its glory, I said, okay, I can't hold back anymore. That is a must. Even if that is the only one of these toys that I buy, that is enough. And I need it.
Yeah. And that was actually the first time I met you in person, right? You were opening your Horseman.
Yeah.
And I was in the chat saying, awesome, I'm going to unbox mine at the same time over here, and just started looking at it. And I was just like, hey, why don't you jump on?
Jump on. Let's do this.
Like, all right. And that was officially my first time ever streaming here on YouTube, which was awesome. Before we get too deep, let's check in real quick with some folks that are chatting.
Well, I looked
ahead.
it up. It was Seventh Kingdom. So
Seventh Kingdom.
Right.
Seventh Kingdom.
We were right there, but just wanted to be sure.
Animal Warriors of the Seventh Kingdom. Okay. Yeah. So Masterversal, born from a heavenly stone. I was just trying my best to channel my Masterversal, my Eldor. But anyways, born from a heavenly stone. He who acquires supernatural powers after rebelling against heaven. Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. Yes, absolutely. Shiny Plastic People, Chris, finally, he says, mine hasn't even shipped yet. Yeah.
So sorry, Chris.
See, that's interesting. I've kind of wondered how that all works. Chris, if you don't mind letting us know, were you ordering, did you get to order the morning sort of, what do you call it? Window,
they had
I guess.
Yeah, they had that morning window, and then they did a second one later in the evening.
Yeah.
Which was really cool, by the way.
So I'm curious, Chris, if you could tell us if you got yours in the morning or in the evening. Oh, there's the answer. Thank you. Yeah. So they probably moving through orders kind of in order. I don't know if my theory about 2 figures versus 1 figure makes any sense. I assume that only makes sense because there's more packing to do, right? It's kind of like you do single orders, throw them in one type of box,
right?
One shipping amount, send them out, and then move on from there. And they're probably doing some level of morning orders, afternoon orders, and so on. So Chris, I don't think it's anything personal. I hope you didn't piss anybody off over at Four Horsemen.
I don't know. After what Thanos said a little bit further down in the chat there, maybe. Chris, what did you do? Did you like pee in Corn Boys Cheerios or something?
Oh, I'll get there. I got to get there.
Yeah,
Thanos
yeah.
says, "I wish I had gotten 2
know.
to make a skeletal monkey with that new head from the upcoming pack." Yeah. So again, I know some of this is a little bit of inside baseball. Hey, that's a sports reference from Brick. But yeah, so they recently did a wave that's actually available right now for pre-order on storehorseman.com. Where they included a heads pack, including some skeletons of different creatures, like a monkey. So, yeah, I hear that. It's so hard to plan with these things. The good news with Figura Obscura is that they at least the past couple of releases haven't disappeared really quickly. So there's the stuff that sold on the website, but oftentimes they keep a bunch for conventions. So you should be able to see them around for a little bit. Unfortunately, Thanos is with me here on the West Coast, so those shows are few and far between.
Right. Well, you have a friend that's going to a couple in the future, so
yeah, that's true. That's true. We could get our little friend from I don't know. Well, yes, from the East Coast. I'll just say it that way. I actually don't know how public. Have you mentioned on stream where you're at? You have, right?
Oh, yeah. I've mentioned I'm in Maryland, in Baltimore.
Okay, gotcha.
Talked about the violent city that we are. As a matter of fact, I just had kudos from Lawrence for taking the title of,
Murder Capital.
Yeah, Murder Capital.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I heard that. Oh, yeah.
What a wonderful place I live.
We got things to work on in this country.
Yes.
So maybe we will get a recolor like the other Figura Obscuras. I'm pretty sure that maybe is a yes, we will.
I'd love to see them do a re-release in more colors, because some of those are like, wow.
Yeah, the different ways that this character has been portrayed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanos Copter. My first introduction was Goku and Son from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Oh, I didn't realize they had a version of him in there. So I'm assuming that's from the Capcom side. Was he from like an older fighting game?
I'm not sure. It's been so long since I played the Capcom fighting games. I was more when all Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was all the rage in the arcades. I was still playing some Mortal Kombat and stuff.
Gotcha.
So.
Pains is talking about other Four Horsemen stuff because, like I said, there's a current wave. The All Stars Wave 6 is still available for pre-order.
Yes.
And he looks like, oh, Pains, you're trying. I know you're trying. You were trying to be good. You were trying to control that spending. But hey, at the end of the day, if you bought 4 from All Star 6, I will personally guarantee you that every single figure you get will be fantastic. As Nolan knows, based on what he's seen, that Headless Horseman, it looks impeccable. It is. Every figure that I've ever gotten from Four Horsemen is just one of those things that I don't know. There's just not a whole lot. There are things you can ultimately complain about, but attention to detail, overall craft is not one of them. So no matter what, you are going to get some quality. Aaron, you're getting some quality. Let's see. Folks saying hello to each other. Awesome. Here you go. So perfect example. Aaron says that I ordered morning by like 8:01 his time. So 8:01 his time would have been mine. 6 mine and 9 yours, right? Do I got that right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would have been the start of that morning window. Hi folks, 6 o'clock in the morning. That's me ordering toys.
Ready to get them toys. It's strange because normally their format is waiting until 12 Eastern time.
Yep.
So it's 9 a.m. for you guys on the West Coast.
Has that been?
Or no, you know what? I'm thinking Mattel.
No, we've had some early stuff. Yeah, no, we've had some early stuff. No, that's because Mattel's here on the West Coast and they don't want to wake up.
That's how I'm used to it.
Yeah, no, Horsemen are on Jersey. They're like, yeah, you California folk, wake up. So see, I was about to carve a theory because I'm like, okay, Paynes and I ordered at the same time. He got a single, I got a double. He got his a couple of days earlier than I did. So there was that. But then we got Thanos, who's here in Central California, ordered in the evening. Sorry, Chris, this is going to piss you off, and got his before me. So
Right?
I don't know what's going on. It is what it is. Oh, see, further blowing up the spot. Axion Figs. Where you at? Really, really, really curious. So he ordered they ordered theirs in the morning and still hasn't shipped. Trip.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that really falls in line because I figured maybe. Well, this explains it all.
They caught me flipping Mythic Legions, stuck me with a Saint Nick, and stiffed me on shipping with the Monkey King. Chris, I'm sure they're totally fine with you, funding your toy habit by selling some Mythic Legions. I don't think that's an issue. And also, you do a great job of supporting their former place of work over at McFarland. So I'm sure they have love for you, friend. Let's see. Did I just skip a bunch? I sure did. Thanos wasn't sure what game Goku was from.
Right.
Masterversal would love a second release there. Yeah. And I still think you might be able to grab this one or find this one. Eldor, if you need some help, let us know. I can't even wrap my head around shipping to New Zealand, but hey.
We'll figure it
out. Yep, jinx. So Thanos, again, on the All-Star 6 report of what folks ordered, got 3 in the heads pack.
The head pack is just a must.
Have you placed an order? Are you going to place an order for All-Star 6? It's hard. Yes. I know it's hard right now. Yeah.
The truth is, yes, I will be. Okay. I just don't know whether I'll be doing it right now through Four Horsemen or if I may wait until it hits retailers to pre-order.
Yep.
That's one of the pluses of this. I may spend a little bit more having to do it that way. Like there's certain ones that I'll definitely try to go through and be like, okay, cherry pick 1 or 2 right now, and then the rest of the stuff can kind of wait until it hits others. Because the plus side is it's like once you pre-order through the Four Horsemen, it's paid for and done with. So I'm just sitting and waiting pretty until it arrives.
Right.
But that's also the problem because you need that money up front. Yeah. So when you got other stuff coming, it's a little bit harder to justify putting that money out when you got other things. So
100%, man. I did place my order and surprise, like Paynes, I was trying to be good.
It's so
a little more than I planned for.
Well, even if you're not like the big thing with this wave was really just like a lot of people were saying, I'm not into the skeletons. We just got all that stuff in Necronominus. I'm not into the skeletons. And then they hit you stuff with like Sir Andrew, the Skulls head pack, which even if you're not buying the other skeletons, those random skulls for toy photography, perfect. All that extra stuff is really tough not to just dive in and buy it all in.
Belts.
Oh my God, the belts packs.
We're like, the belts for $12? Sure.
Bone wings. There's stuff in there for everything.
I know. We've got Allison Troy. Greetings, my beautiful son. I love that that's become part of her way of jumping into chats. Greetings, my beautiful summer children.
Dig it.
Thanos, thank you for clarifying. So it's actually on the Nintendo and not on the Capcom game. Fascinating. I'm not familiar with that Nintendo game or Famicom. I'm assuming 8-bit.
Japanese only release.
Yeah. Let's see who else can get in here. Folks saying hello to Allison. Always great. I'll throw it up there. Yeah, apparently. Are you claiming that so who are we talking here? Are we talking FedEx? Are we talking Four Horsemen? Who in fact is hating your neck of the woods? And as a person in California, I'm very mindful. I will not I will not engage the folks by calling it Flyover America. I'll be respectful. Axion's over in south of Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New
Got
York.
it.
Okay.
So like
Just a couple hours north.
This doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me then.
Yeah, it's
because you're
really
right there.
far. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm just, from here to Jersey is like 4 hours.
Yeah.
3.5, 4 hours north. That's about it to get to Jersey. And mine took a detour all the way up to Maine, came back through New Hampshire on Saturday, finally showed up in southern Maryland on its way to it was in DC by Saturday afternoon, and I was just like, this thing's not showing up until Tuesday. That's right, I said Monday earlier, but it was Tuesday because of the holiday.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the chat, man. And so some of these I want to get through some of these, and then we'll get back to the toy. I'm like, hey, we're 33 minutes, and we have yet to release the power of Sun Wukong. So sorry, let's see if I can get through it. Yeah, but I definitely want to make sure that we at least say hello to everyone who's here. Thank you, Speaking Moistly, for joining us today. Beautiful, beautiful to see you here again. Totally into Mythic Legions, skeletons, and vampires. I love also that Mythic Legions gives us such variety.
They do. There's a little bit of everything.
So that you can like jump in and be like, I'm a claim skeletons, I'm a claim vampires, I'm a claim barbarians, I'm a claim, and just keep
Knights,
going and going and going.
Bigoted horses.
And last but not least, in terms of new folks on the chat, what's going on, Quip?
Got that
we
quip.
Are talking Sun Wukong, and perfect timing because we are gonna get into the figure now. All right, so you ready to let's do the magnet thing?
Crack
shall we?
that magnet seal. Let's do it. Okay.
He knows these things are sealed by magnets. Here we go.
Ooh.
Oh,
look at that gorgeous. Oh, he's so pretty. He looks so serious in there. Wait a minute.
Say, from a distance, and I'm looking at my little screen, yours almost looked like it had a different head on it, but no, it doesn't.
No, it's just the lighting. That's all. It was the lighting in the distance. But you're right. It did look like that.
Packed in there, you see the different heads. Oh my God, that angry head is everything for me right there.
So gorgeous. And then they didn't even put all the heads up front. The other head is a little bit further to the back.
Yeah, because it's got the big long attachment, the phoenix feather behind it there.
Oh man.
Okay.
So good looking.
So if that didn't make any sense to you, you couldn't see it. So we've got this on here, and it's in there now.
Sealed with a magnet.
Together by magnets.
Strong magnets. This guy isn't coming out unless you pop those.
And this thing is like is on chipboard or like a book board, basically, like it's a hardcover book.
Yep.
And it gives us this awesome sort of fold out thing that you mentioned, Nate Barch, artist. And if you weren't sure, you can always look at the bottom of these things and get some detailed credits, which I deeply appreciate as a creative person myself and as a person who loves behind the scenes stuff. Actually getting credits of the folks involved. We started going over and showing that there's a ton of this, and I'll get back to that in terms of why I think that's super important and helpful. But you pointed out here some of these background characters that are a part of the journey to the West.
Yep.
There's that tiger.
He's so gorgeous.
And then we've got Wukong. While I was doing my All-Star 6 order, so tempted to get a shirt. Like at a certain point, you're like, oh, another $26. But then I actually drew the line somewhere. But look at that gorgeous. Oh,
I know. Nate does such amazing work for these. It's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. And I love it because on the inside now, you have this wonderful piece to sit around the back, and this follows along with the other Figura Obscura releases where you've got a little place setting right for the back to display your figure on.
And there's that display you're talking about.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Just stunning. The
And
rocks.
it's really cool to
bamboo.
see Nate be able to like explore other art styles.
Yes. Oh yes, because he made this look very much like a painting.
Yeah, you can tell like he was exploring some of those brush paintings and
It's fantastic.
Dope. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just sorry. I'm opening this. I'm hi, thank you for coming and watching, but maybe you might catch me in moments of just sort of geeking out and like being in awe.
I'm
of
with
what's
you,
happening
buddy.
with this thing.
I'm with you. Like, I'm just blown away.
And I will admittedly say that I'm also a little bit emotional. We'll talk a little bit more on the significance of this character and having a figure coming from an Asian culture, from China in particular, matters to me in a way that, I've talked a lot about on this channel before, but it's really cool to be able to get this character produced by one of my favorite sort of toy companies at their level of art.
Right. And I
Sun
love
Wukong.
this because you have that backdrop that we just showed off in complete pristine beauty. And now here it is again. It's that same backdrop, same mountains, same land.
Yep.
And it's burning.
Yep.
You've
got his two companions there.
Yep.
I'm looking at the names, so I kind of know them as Pixie. So Jubaje. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that at all. I try my best. And I'm forgetting who else the other one is. Anywho, let's go ahead and you want to start unboxing?
I shall.
Here's the deal, folks. This is in a box. It is sealed here at the top with two little pieces of tape. If you are curious, if you care about that sort of thing,
get yourself.
I generally try and preserve these packages as best I can, because they are beautiful. But also, if I ever need to pack up the figures again, this is definitely the safest way, at least, without things getting smushed. And if I ever want to sell them for whatever reason, usually because I have to. So why don't I do this? I'll save it. I'm just going to put on the cam. If you're curious, for those of you kind of wondering what it's like to open one of these, this is the kind of stuff it comes with. And so this, this is more standard Horseman. You get a little slip of paper. It's not bright orange paper, but that's fine, with this sort of standard message that sort of talks about, when these things are shipped, things are stiff. You got to loosen them a little bit and then kind of give you some guidance on heating them up to prevent joint damage, etc. Of course.
Got that lovely new plastic smell.
Yeah, that's off-gassing.
It is.
Of course, I don't have any hot water. Do you have any hot water available on your end?
No, of course not. As much as we
I'm-
always say we prepare for these, we never prepare properly.
I could grab a heater, but I don't think I will.
They
So
tend
there's
to
that.
be pretty good.
And then here's the other deal. This is unique to this figure. I was wrong. The phoenix feathers, I forgot, are not connected to that. So I don't know if you can see that. Heat up the holes in the crown with either a hair dryer or hot water and carefully insert the feathers.
Yeah.
Cool little illustration. That was probably a fun little project to do.
So I will not be trying to attempt to push the feathers in, because you know what? I didn't heat up the base for the Christmas tree, for Father Christmas.
Oh, did that snap on you?
And it didn't snap entirely, but you notice my Christmas tree is a bit crooked because the wiring, it was too snug and it made a crimp in it that weakened how it is in there. And I haven't been able, it's not.
Is there a little bit of excess at the bottom? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I remember them talking about that and how you may need to maybe even snip some of that bits off.
So, I mean, it's all good though, because in reality, I could probably just go to a craft store and buy the same exact tree.
Yeah. Here is Wukong in his plastic prison that we're about to free him from.
That's right. Gotta let this plastic breathe.
Look at that face.
Like, it's so stern and stoic. And then the other faces.
All right. So I think at this point, I am going to... Well, let me open it up. Let's... 2 trays, if you're wondering. Some of you are like, I don't care. Hurry up. Show me the figure. But part of this is...
We have to have our enjoyment too, you know.
There's that second head that or there's that additional head where the phoenix feathers will attach.
Yep.
At the top. And the rest of the accessories, including his cloud shoes, or I don't know if the right term is, but yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, we'll slowly sort of open things up here and sort of chat.
I agree.
But
I've got him out of the plastic. I am pulling off the second plastic tie because I was actually able to just kind of weave him out of the box. I didn't actually have to undo the bottom one. It wasn't on that tight, which is nice. But I'm just doing it now so I get more little plastic ties. So one thing that I really like about this is with the Mythic Legions and stuff, they have done faceplate swaps as opposed to just head swaps. Which I have to say, I really appreciate that when you're going for different looks on a figure and you don't necessarily have to pop off the whole head and put another head on. You can just pop off faceplates, and that's what they've done with Sun Wukong here.
Yeah,
you know,
good point. Those heads that I kept calling them heads. They are actually sort of faces,
right,
with pegs in the back that plug into. You only actually get 2 heads, and you have I think 4
faces total
that you can kind of swap in and out on those 2 different heads. So we'll take a look at those.
I have him out now, which I'm loving. Again, these wired soft goods, some of the best for action figures out there.
Shout out to C. Jessom.
That's right.
My Phil Canadian homies.
Even the detailing for his gauntlets, he's got like the little knots and ties as he has his bracers tied on there. And like, that's not just some kind of lazy detail on it. They've actually sculpted that.
Yep. Oh, these are so good.
Yeah. And the sculpting detail on the armor. I mean, this is all new. Oh, that was very nice. So the faceplate is a very snug fit. You see it's got this little nub on the back. But I have now taken the monkey face off. And this is what a monkey looks like without his face. It's kind of creepy. There's just a hole there.
Reminds me of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Speaking of, oh man, new shots from the Netflix live action.
Yeah, man, I'm there for that. Check out some monkey feet.
Yeah, monkey feet. And look at how well sculpted it is. Again, it's not just some plain bottom of a foot.
Yep.
That's fully sculpted detail.
Yep. For the photographers, if you're going to have him like, you know, flying around, shoving his feet in your face and the camera's face, you can actually get that detail in there.
You can really get the amount of detail they have put in him is phenomenal.
Phenom.
Yes.
Enol.
So I'm going to pop one of the heads out of here, or rather one of the face sculpts. And
do it.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and do do the one I think everybody loves the most.
Man, I cannot make sense of my setup, but there you go.
Oh, look at that gorgeous.
I'll let him sort of sit and spin.
I mean, again, just look at all the details on that armor. That's
I know.
all individually sculpted. I mean, mind you, it's digitally sculpted now. It's not so much hand sculpted anymore, but okay.
I had a friend over today who's super geeky themselves, and they know that I've been doing the whole action figure thing, and they've got a couple action figures themselves, but had never seen the Four Horsemen's work, and so I was showing them like a couple of Mythic Legions figures, and yeah, I mean, definitely impressed by sort of like the sculpt quality, and that's the thing with the Four Horsemen, right? Guaranteed you're going to be getting aesthetically some of the most amazing sculpts, overall design, color choices. There's so much detail in this sculpt. So not only do they give you the detail, but they're like, we really want you to see that detail. So all the sort of like the washes on this thing, they really just kind of go the extra mile and lay on like all the extra deco so that you see this. So there you go. And I know you've been sort of seeing him do a couple rotations, but I'll kind of give you a lower angle too, so you can kind of see what's going on. Oh, that's right. He has a tail and he currently is missing it. So I'll get that stuff out and open.
It's in there pretty snug. I'm actually working on that right now. And because of the thickness of his tail, it's in there pretty snug. But able to pop that out. So this is his tail. Now, we've all seen this long tail. It's pretty straight. But the pictures we've seen, it wasn't just a long straight tail.
Mm-mm.
And again, it's their ability to, back in the day, you had something like this. As a matter of fact, I had that original OG Spawn Violator figure that was basically like a Bendum with the little rubber wires in it.
Yep. God, that thing was ugly in a good way back in the day.
So good, but you bent his arms too far this way, too far that way, and they'd break.
Yep.
So fortunately now this is much sturdier, and I have now plugged his boom boom hole.
With no heat, by the way, which is not recommended.
Not recommended, but that one's
end of that. Yeah, that end of that little ball is not, the connection to the thing. It's a little thin, so just got to be mindful.
And just be careful. Honestly, if like you're forcing, like if you're applying enough pressure and it doesn't feel like it's going to go, back off. Don't keep trying to force it. Please do not force your toys. No means no. Okay.
Always a good lesson.
Right?
Folks.
Consent.
Hey, Chris. Just, you see that little shout out there?
That's right.
Shiny Closet people. Let's see while I'm doing this.
And then we got a bit more of a curved tail look to him now.
Mm-hmm.
And again, because I was not able to heat him up properly, I'm being gentle as I go. I've been seeing the chat there about fixing my treat, and I appreciate all of you
the advice. Happy Snappy Wednesday.
Right?
There's a little guest appearance. A character whose name actually is Nubs.
Nubs! I love it. Adorable and fierce all at once.
That's my little Father's Day purchase.
What a good one, too.
How about this? Here it is. Sorry, I have small children and an
That
infantile brain.
peach.
An infantile brain myself.
Got
That's
that
just a peach, folks. This peach will give you extend your life
That's right.
and power, depending on.
That's right.
Yeah, there's nibs.
So again, like his shin armor here, which, you know, it gets kind of covered up a little bit by the soft goods and the extra robes at the bottom, but we'll just lift up his robes. He'll forgive us later. Again, that sculpting detail as yours rotates, you see it on the side, you see it on the back.
Yep.
It's just outstanding.
And if you want to admire some of this stuff, but so this stuff is looped in here, right? Were you able to just sort of pull everything out in one direction? I'm assuming.
Yeah. Definitely use the gravity assist and let it go down.
Yeah, because my tail looks like I don't know. It looks kind of in there. Did you have to do anything?
Very
special?
Carefully.
Yeah,
just very carefully kind of gave it a little rock, and it did come out.
I am actually wondering if I should get some heat. Let's see. Going this way is not going to work.
I just got to remember before I do these to get my heat gun out and give it just that blast of heat treat.
There you go. I can slip it out here. So the tricky thing with these figs, right, is that it's head to toe paint, head to tail. So I always get a little bit nervous about sort of doing this because I'm going to
paint rub.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, it kind of comes with the territory.
So I've managed to get both of my feathers out, little to no issue. Now the big test is, will we get the staff out without a bend? Because even the staff itself, it's, you know, it's not just a plain Jane staff. I mean, this thing has sculpted detail on either end. And the holes for that are extremely snug too. I'm having a bit more issue with the staff than I was with the tail.
Yeah, I'm noticing that too. And I don't want to bend this too much, right?
I gave it a little twist and bent the plastic away from it, the clamshell.
Sure, that makes sense.
However, I still got a little crooked. So, again, for those of us who all know in the toy community, a little bit of heat treat on that, and that will be fine.
I know a lot of people right now are like, man, just hurry up. Because I know some folks are just like, they tear through this stuff.
I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, and I do tend to take a little too much care with some of this stuff.
How long did it take me to fully unbox that Headless Horseman? We were checking back like every 45 minutes. Just undoing the ties for like 2 hours. Yep.
There's inevitably when we get to talking about, monkeys and other primates, non-human primates, there becomes this conversation around gripping feet.
Right.
Yeah. And I get that. I totally get that. I think, I appreciate how Thanos phrased it. Absolutely. I would have loved it too. I don't necessarily.
Yeah.
That doesn't speak negatively about these things, but yeah,
not at all.
That would be great.
I gotta
Are you a big toe articulation guy in general? Sorry to cut you off.
Depending on the figure. Like if it's a Spider-Man figure or something that's going to often get into like those crouching poses. Yeah. Some toe articulation is kind of, desired. I'm not going to say required, but very desired. Mm-hmm. So I always find it weird when they release a Spider-Man without the toe articulation.
Yeah.
A figure like this, where we have the more hand style feet, I'd want a little bit more articulation in the feet, or at least swappable for posing. Like if I want to have him do like some kind of sick sideways handstand, holding his gourd with his feet, pouring it into one of those beautifully open mouths, doing a kickflip on a half pipe. Nice. I should be able to do that.
Nice. Yeah.
It's a little difficult because I don't have gripping feet. don't know, Brick. I may like this other head just a little bit better. Again, I don't want to put the feathers in without heating it first, because if they give that warning, I'm really worried I might break the feathers. But I think I definitely have to swap the head here, because just something about his little the pin for the feathers just
I'm gonna
makes him look.
go ahead and just give folks a broader view, a closer look at some of the stuff that we're getting in this
It's a
figure.
lot.
Right? You can see the faces there. We've got scrolls. Sorry, scrolls. I watched Secret Invasion today. Scrolls, not scrolls.
We'll have
There's
to talk
this-
about that a bit.
There's
Off
this
camera, no
staff.
spoilers.
There's the staff.
Speaking of OzBrick, behind you,
Oh yeah, there's the original OzBrick.
the original OzBrick.
So yeah, anyways, these figures come with a whole lot of stuff. And I will say the Figura Obscura line is definitely like notorious for like packing in all sorts of cool details about the character in question, right? So for the Four Horsemen, for Headless Horseman, it was filled with all sorts of like extra bits to give you some options for display, and honestly, just some really cool stuff to kind of really inform the character. Same went for Father Christmas, and here we have same with Wukong. I mean, all these little bits are just tied into the lore, tied into the character.
Right.
There's that boom boom hole. I don't know if you could see the boom boom hole, but
it's a little low
right
for the boom boom
there.
hole, but there it is.
Yep. Anyway, I love what they're doing with this line. So on the one hand, yes, absolutely, all of these parts are interchangeable with Mythic Legions parts and presumably Cosmic Legions parts when that drops. But Figura Obscura, definitely Figura Obscura figures definitely seem to be getting a whole lot more than your usual Legions figures. So,
right. These guys, they've got a bit more of the detail in it. They've got a lot more accessories. Like, again, Father Christmas came with toys, pets, a Christmas tree, a lantern, a staff, 4 heads. Yeah, 4 heads.
4 heads.
Because the 2 for Father Christmas and then the silver bells as the extra little gift in the bag.
Silver bells. That's cute.
That's what they were. They were silver bells.
Yeah. That's cute.
So they gave you 4 heads with that figure plus all that other stuff. With the Headless Horseman, that was probably the least when it came to extras, but they gave you a horse.
I was gonna say,
which they're like, price wise, they're like $70 on their own. So
yep.
They really gave you a lot with the horse, and it came with alternate hair sculpting for it. Yep. You had the alternate heads. You had a lighted jack-o'-lantern, an unlit jack-o'-lantern, and you had that little neck peg plug hole of a severed stump, for the neck.
Yep.
So again, like with this, you've got 4 hands in the base. Just, you've got a total of, I should say it as this. You have a total of 6 hands, 3 sets of hands. We have, again, no alternate feet. You've got 4 different face plates, 2 different heads. You have some extra bonus accessories. You got multiple versions of the scroll. Again, this isn't Marvel. These aren't scrolls. We do have alternate feet when you include his cloud shoes.
Yep.
You've got his little gourd because he's going to get thirsty.
Yep.
You have, of course, again, the peach, which is lovely. And you have his staff. The only thing I'm sad that maybe we didn't get, again, is really an extra set of feet and possibly a shorter version of the staff.
Yep.
because his staff does have the ability to extend and shorten itself. So
Thanos is saying this was his favorite faceplate. I agree.
Yeah.
This and actually both of the angry
screaming ones. 'Cause
skulls.
we've never had an angry monkey face like this before.
in Legions. Yep.
Well, just in toys in general, you normally don't get this for a figure. On a statue, yeah.
Yep. There's the Noda Wukong has an amazing one that I'm
Yes.
still like, oh, should I get that? But
time, my
yes.
friend.
Yes. And those dropped at the same time. I will say, like, this is not the only Wukong figure on the market, right?
That's right.
And there are some other great ones by Noda is great. And then there are some other, there's lots of different options, which again speaks to how I guess, I don't know, like popular, I guess, and the life of this character.
So, and one of the other things I want to point out too is that even if you aren't into necessarily Journey to the West, you're not into the Monkey King, the new armor details that we've got here, the new, again, with the soft goods, the more Chinese style armor with the little lions and dragons on it. And of course, many people have the Poxus wave coming. If you've if you're into the whole Jin and everything like that,
Yep.
There's a lot of great pieces here that you could swap onto that and make some really cool custom figures as well.
Yep. Absolutely. What's going on, AI? Good to see you. Sorry. I just wanted to acknowledge and say hey.
Oh, of course.
By the way, if you didn't know, again, I hate to interrupt you, but this is really important stuff. While we've been watching this live stream, McFarlane has announced 9 Batman figures, 1 Joker, and an alt-universe question with a removable mask to reveal its Batman undercover as the question.
And he still hasn't given anybody a straight answer on more regular female characters.
No.
Nope.
Just, Wonder Woman.
He's still giving political answers for those.
There's a Donna Troy, but I'm going to try this again. You all
just go easy. Go
easy. This is not the smartest thing to do. I don't know if Jeremy J is going to pop out of nowhere and come in and
as long as you're not ripping it apart, I think we'll be okay. Jeremy J is on his way to the chat right now. He heard what was happening. He's running. So, God, at least use a little KY on there first.
All right. I should do this over here. It's awkward. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about the character as we're unfolding this stuff. And, trying to... we're both looking away too. And again, this is a new setup. So I've got my computer down here so I can kind of try to pretend like I'm mindful about the chat. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. I've been off the horse for a little bit. And so I've got my brick cam up here and my something cam / peace and power cam, toy cam
right
down here. So I'm like kind of looking weirdly everywhere.
All over the place. Head rolling.
Fun fact. So before I was you all know that I'm super into Lego, and I was doing some stuff with like custom Lego, a lot of custom minifig stuff. And that's a Sun Wukong Monkey King minifig that I designed years ago because I wanted a Sun Wukong minifig for Lego. Lego would eventually do that. They would create a sort of a Monkey King based line interpretation of Journey to the West in Monkey Kid, Monkie.
Yep.
Kid. Super fun. My kids were into it. We got cool little pigsy, pig character. We got all the companions and we got all the sort of bull demon villains in that case. Very cool stuff. So this thing is everywhere, which you were saying your first interaction with this character was through Dragon Ball.
Right. You
For
know,
me, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, just learning about Dragon Ball as this crazy little cartoon. It was Dragon Ball, and I believe I was watching it first. It was on like Fox. See, a lot of
Oh,
people
that's
don't
right.
remember it until it was like on Cartoon Network. But I remember it being on like Fox at like 6 a.m. during the week.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just this little kid with this monkey tail. I
Yep.
was like, what is this nonsense?
And blink and you'll
loved
miss
it.
the monkey tail at some points, depending on his angle, and then it'll show back up.
Yep.
So it was kind of always like, wait, is he a monkey? Like, what's going
Right.
on?
What's going on with this? So then learning a little bit more about it as I got curious
Mm-hmm.
is what turned me on to Journey to the West.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I was just like, okay, this is a little bit of heavy reading, but I mean, I was reading like Stephen King in the 4th grade. So, I was no stranger to reading well above what my age appropriate level should have been, like giant volumes and tomes versus your average little storybooks.
Yep.
Now, mind you, that being said, really, it's only about 250 some odd pages, depending on size, text, and length. But
I was gonna say, what translation did you get? But also culturally, were you able to sort of pick up on some of the references in terms of like Taoism and Buddhism in general? Or
not at first, because I was still growing into
say.
Eastern philosophy and martial arts.
Uh-huh.
I mean, naturally, like most kids that grew up in the 80s and 90s, like karate was all the rage between Karate Kid, Ninja Turtles, and stuff like that. So then upon eventually getting more into that and learning more about Eastern philosophy, that's when I became more involved with learning about exactly what Taoism is. And if anybody wonders about Taoism, there's this beautiful book called The Tao of Pooh, which
so
talks
cute.
about Winnie the Pooh and that influence there. It'll help break it down in a very easily understandable way.
Super cute. I remember that.
Yeah, it's one of the best books I've ever read.
All right, so this is the Monkey King. I'm gonna just mess around with some of the posing as we sort of talk over it. Well, actually, let me do the breakdown. So if you're not familiar with the Mythic Legions figure, this is pretty much, your typical Mythic Legions figure. These people are gonna get annoyed with me, but some of these parts. Wait, let me think. Oh, I was about to say I haven't seen some of these parts because I still haven't opened my All Stars 5+ figures, including Dubon or Dubin. I don't know if Adam's still here. But I actually have seen this figure on Valak, or these body parts, some of these parts on Valak. So I'm saying that basically, like, a lot of these parts we have seen already. So like these upper arms, this forearm here, that torso with an asterisk, because this torso also has a front plate like the faces. So this armor bits, that's new. So that front face to that torso is new, but these legs again are all, I have this in a Valak figure and a unopened Dubon too, actually. But what's great is they can just really take all these different parts and give us these whole new characters using their sort of existing parts library.
So I'm just giving it a breakdown a little bit myself here. I will pop off some pieces. I already took off the head sculpt. I took off his more kerchief piece at the top there. Then underneath that, we have his prayer beads, which, again, this piece alone, amazing. I'm sure some people will work that into a Mardi Gras shot.
Oh, God.
It's not what they're for, people.
Thanos.
Looking at you, buddy. You've got that reputation now.
Loved your photo today, by the way.
Yes.
I appreciated giving us a little bit more variety up in there. That was nice.
So here we have the shoulder pauldrons. Now these are new.
Yep, 100% new. Oh, look at those.
That is a gorgeous new sculpted piece. left and right because we got them mirrored.
Gorgeous. I love the chainmail. And so you get this I don't know if it's, I guess it's mail, whatever. But this armor, a lot of that detail again being brought out by the paint shop, right? Getting us a little bit of the it's not one solid, like, you know, the plastic isn't gold or
Right.
but there's a wash in there so that we actually pull out, get some contrast in there to see all those little links or whatever you call them.
So Thanos has apparently already beat us to popping this guy apart. He said the face is actually waist armor, but not part of the torso, which is actually where I'm ending up getting to right now. And
Talking about this?
yeah, that is all part of waist armor.
Mm-hmm. It's like
Which-
their belt buckles essentially, right?
So
Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm assuming.
here is his little
under.
neck piece up at the top of the torso,
Oh,
which
God, I'm
again,
loving this. Thank you for doing this, and I don't have to, and I can keep my cute little Monkey King intact. Go ahead.
for those of you who are not familiar, they had that little piece right back here, which they use for like different neck armors and pieces right there. So again, as you said, the soft goods on the upper arms, those are completely reused. But when you get down to the forearms, that's where we get new again. You know, because the forearm pieces down there, well, maybe, hang on, doing a little pop.
Underneath the bracers.
I was trying to see if maybe the bracers themselves, that is the forearm piece. Okay. It's not just slid over there, which would have been cool, but that's okay. I'm fine that it is a solid forearm piece. It was just the wrist swivel that got me on that. So, still not bad though, because you can just put that onto another fig with that swivel.
Would you mind holding up the body so they can see where the connection points are for those pauldrons?
Okay. So on the back side here, again, because it's very hard to see with all of his stuff up and around the shoulders, right there on the back of each of these, you have those two holes at the top. Every buck has those two holes because that is where you pop in their shoulder pauldrons, or if they're the right wings, you can get the wings in there. But you have, again, this square peg in the back. Many people may not understand what that is for. That is for a wing adapter, which I actually have one just sitting right here. So if I wanted to give Sun Wukong some wings, I could pop that piece in, and there you go. Now he would have holes for certain styles of wings that have the smaller pegs, not the much larger holes of the shoulder pauldrons. So there is that there. See, I'm surprised Jeremy J hasn't come up yet, since I am ripping an animal apart on you. All right. So then we get down to, as what Thanos was saying, and again, the front portion of his mail armor, that's new. I've not seen all that sweet decoration on anything yet, but you know, the rest of his buck is pretty standard. But I love that chest piece there, and all of that waist armor is a solid piece with the rings, and then they had the wired soft goods woven through in a really awesome way too, to keep it sitting in there. But again, great posability, so you can have it flow in different ways to again make him look like he's in all kinds of crazy positions. But we're not done, because just like they packed it in up and around the neck and the head, we have more soft goods. So you've got like an extra little skirt here that just slides over the little ball waist joint.
Yep. Right here.
And
over here, that's that waist. Sorry, this piece, right? The skirt?
Yes. So yeah, that skirt. Then you have, and this part I don't want to pop off because again, I don't have any heat and I don't want to break anything. I'm going to try it a little bit. Oh, and it did. Okay. So you have that little
Mm-hmm.
front guard crotch armor. It's a little male like.
That's so
And
nice.
then he has yet another little skirt underneath for that, which, as you see, it's got that hole in the section so that the connector piece pops right through.
Mm-hmm.
And now not only do they come with boom boom holes, but they got this little square hole in the front. But again, just a gorgeous breakdown.
That's for the that loincloth male piece, right?
Male, yeah, the male loincloth stuff, the cod piece, if you will. So
this is where, like, do I risk this? Did you put them? You put them in there already, yeah.
I did not. No, I said I'll go wait till I get here.
Yeah, so you can see me here potentially break mine. It wasn't so bad. It's not fully in either.
Right.
But those are definitely thin little connectors. So
yeah,
this is where I know consciously this is not the best way to do it. I should really heat it up. But
definitely should.
Do as they say, not as I do.
Don't pull a Mega J on live and destroy your toy. Of course, I did.
What
that
was that? Was that an AWOC figure, right?
No, that was a Mondo figure. So we'll go with that.
Oh, that was a Mondo.
At least it wasn't this, or at least it wasn't. At least we're not playing with Mondo. And oops, he broke.
Oh, that was a He-Man.
Yeah. I mean, they already were known for the problems that they were having, but he went ahead and just was like, "Oh yeah, you could just," and then he snapped it in half. But that's why we love Jay. He does the stuff that, some of us are definitely not willing to do. So I'm going to layer my boy back up. This is probably the most layered with armor I've ever seen a figure, but I kind of like that.
With all the soft goods, with different armor pieces, for sure. It's definitely a lot more than their previous figs. And like we said, a lot of these Figura Obscura figures in particular do have a little bit more going on. Father Christmas also had kind of a bit going on. That said, I also think these are coming out at a time when we are kind of waiting for some new figures to come, right? We're waiting for the Mythic Legions Poxus wave. And some of those characters, the Jinn, they definitely are layered too. So
I gotta say, I want that Jinn now, especially with this. Like, I almost wish I'd had purchased another one of these just so I could get some pop and swap pieces with that.
Yep. Just a quick little pose up. My arms are stiff. My figure's arms are stiff. So I can't fully show that off right now. They definitely will need a little heat. See, I do have my limits.
I will say he does lose some of that waist articulation, like the ab crunch kind of, with the added face of his waist armor.
Yeah.
But again, that's just kind of par of the course here. As you saw, you can strip them down and try to get some of that back.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you were this character in this figure, right? If you were wearing this armor, of course, mobility is limited, right? So it just makes sense that this stuff is physically layered on top of him, and it's going to get in the way of what he can and can't do in terms of movement and posing.
Right.
So that doesn't, I don't rub against that too much at all. I know you don't either. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, what I appreciate about these things is they give us so much sort of like detail, different pieces that, I could switch this up, take off this kerchief thing, just have the beads, whatever. And you could, sort of have the layers that you want, pose them up the way you want. I just keep thinking about all the different options that this thing provides. I'm thinking about all the photographers out there, like the toy photographers who've got
random
gorgeous figure in here. Ooh, look at that.
Yep. Have my Xenothon spare head sitting right there.
Yep.
Works well.
I love it. Let's just we got Cutthroat Comics up in here. Nice figure. Absolutely. Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us today. Super, super happy for you to kind of join us a bit. Let's see. As far as me taking risks without heating them, right? I only feel like you're tempting fate if you're doing it without heating in a submarine. Like that would wait, what? That would overbalance you in the wrong direction. Oh, submarines at this moment. Yes. Oz. Will there be extra accessories for this figure, like maybe a samurai helmet? That's right. Cutthroat was asking about sort of.
So I know right now on the secondary market, where with that you're going to see a lot of that from other people, customizers, stuff like that. People who own their own print shops. I mean, there's already people who've made a lot of custom samurai style pieces for Mythic Legions already.
Yep.
So you can definitely find those parts, and it's great now that we have these more Asian styled armor pieces to go with it.
Yep.
As far as what we've seen from the Four Horsemen yet, I mean, they haven't made any announcements that I'm aware of, because chances are I'd probably lose my crap and demand that we do a Mythic Legions class video immediately that week just to find out nobody can do it that week and we got to wait 3 or 4 weeks in between. But that's how it always goes.
Guilty.
Hey, man, we all got lives. We're busy.
We all got lives for sure. We'll get to Legions class soon for sure. There's so much to talk about and catch up on. Look at you.
Popping another little head on there. Just,
Look
the random
you.
little Legions heads that I have all hanging out around my desk.
So, let's go ahead and we're creeping up on the hour and a half here. Thank you so much for everyone kind of just hanging out today, checking out these figures. Obviously, like we both love what the Four Horsemen put out in general. So a lot of what you're seeing right now is us just sort of like fawning over this amazing figure. There's just so much to this figure. I haven't even I've sort of displayed these different pieces, right? All the different sort of accessories, but I'm not really even like sort of talking about them, breaking them down a whole lot, just because I'm kind of like processing all this. I will say, since we're here on the live, we started talking about the character a little bit. Why, I guess how widespread it is in the culture and cultures. For me, my first exposure to the Monkey King was actually through anime, but not quite Dragon Ball. About a decade and a half, I think, before that, there was a anime thing that came out here in the United States. It was named Starzinger or Space Tears, right? And so that was, again, another sort of anime science fiction kind of take on this character, who had some of the same sort of qualities of the monkey. It was a human, but I'm trying to remember if that character would lie, like his headband would hurt, and there were all these sorts of the rod growing. So it was kind of cool to be introduced to it that way. Since then, in general, like I love monkeys, so I would see like different images of Monkey King and be like, "What's that? Like a kung fu monkey? Like what's going on with that?" And that's how I learned a little bit more about Sun Wukong. But I have not read it like you have, man. I like that's some dense reading that I never found myself taking up. But I will say, as sort of I alluded to, the fact that the Four Horsemen opted for their Figura Obscura line, right? They started with Krampus, right? Sort of Eastern European holiday tradition. I always do that. Headless Horseman was the second figure that they came out with. Again, New England,
very new world.
East Coast US, new quote unquote, right, new world mythology. And then we went back to Eastern Europe with Father Christmas, right? So there was a lot of questions like, where are we going with this line? And when those teases came up, I was not one of those persons who guessed. In fact, on the Cabal, I sort of said like, oh man, my own internalized racism didn't even let my brain go to like some of the stuff coming out of Asia. That's just me. And folks were like, oh, that's not internalized racism. Like, no, I get what you're saying, but just naming it for myself and my own personal experience as an Asian person born and raised in the United States, it was definitely something that that I'm aware of.
To be very fair,
Uh-huh.
when they gave us the teas, it was a stack of scrolls,
Yep.
and you couldn't really see. I think, Brick, you were the first one to bring those scrolls and like the breakdown of what you could see inside them, because they were all wound. So really the clearest image of what you could see written on one of those scrolls was runes.
Yeah.
Very clearly, very Norse runes. Then you could kind of see on one of the other ones, it looked maybe a little Asian. I couldn't exactly tell if maybe it was Chinese or Korean, but you could kind of see it.
Yeah, there were Chinese characters in there. Yep,
Yeah.
that's true. And they were hard to see. Yep.
They were very hard to see. I couldn't make it out.
Totally did the enhance.
Right? Until it was just too digitized to notice. So really, it wasn't your fault with where they had been with all of these. And again, the only clear one that we could see on that scroll being Norse runes, it's just kind of easy to make that leap. Nobody saw this coming, although they said that they had actually kind of planned this before the other Figura Obscuras that we got.
That's right. Like, because again, these things take the lead up to these, takes a while. And if you just look at the amount of details that are thrown into this figure, as well as, the horsemen were really thoughtful the way they've talked about it. They're like, this is also one that we wanted to get right. We wanted to be thoughtful about, sort of like working with characters from another culture that we are not a part of. So they did their research and were just, real thoughtful, careful, and you can see it. So it makes sense to me that I see the amount of work in this figure, right? Just like every little thing that's in here. I know none of this was sort of like, oh, I'm going to do this because it looks cool. Like reference was used, some thought about what to include, what not to include, looking at different ways that it's been portrayed in either, right, as described in the text or in early sort of scroll depictions, illustrations, paintings, but also like in how it's performed in live action in theater, like this sort of the sort of face makeup on this is
very kabuki.
Yep, alluding to a lot of the stage, the dramatization, and again across different cultures. So yeah, this character was from China. Has some of its mythology has also made it even to India, but also to Thailand, to Vietnam, to Japan, like you said, with kabuki, etc. So all that to say is, like, I know the horsemen, that they're artists, they're creative folks, and they're also like seem like really dope people who are who want to put some good stuff out in the world and do it in a way that's responsible. So I know they did their research, and I look at this thing, it's like, it doesn't surprise me that this was something that they'd been working on well before some of the other figures.
Yeah. I think this actually dates their start of working on a figure like this. I think dates back kind of before they started doing Mythic Legions. So
really,
it's paying off in troves at this
just
point,
like something they've been thinking about, that's been on their mind for a long time. Yeah.
So I'm impressed. I love this figure. Like I said, that day when they were making the announcement, I was immediately messaging you and then second guessing myself, because I was like, oh crap, is it too early to be messaging Brick over there?
Nope.
And you were already up, and we immediately just started chatting about this thing like all throughout the day, because it was such an impressive announcement.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
And then it was just a countdown till that Saturday. Like, is it Saturday yet? Is it Saturday? I need to buy mine. And my only regret is that I didn't do an all-in. I couldn't do it at the time. And it's a shame, because I know, like, with the enamel pins, there was the all-in set. Like, you could only get it with the all-in for the one set, but then you could still get individual But even that sold out pretty quick too. So I still plan on getting like a shirt and everything like that for this, just like I've got my Headless Horseman shirt. But like you said, you got to kind of prioritize which one am I going for at this time. Do I want the figure? Do I want the clothing apparel? And I want the figure. So
I definitely wanted to say, oops, hello to Black Phoenix. Thank you so much for watching. Been hanging out.
Yeah.
Quiet on the chat end, but has been sort of watching. I hope you get yours too. I am curious, Phoenix, if when you actually ordered yours, if it was in the morning or in the evening. If you don't mind sharing, I'm crafting a stupid little theory in my brain about how these.
We should have made a poll for the chat. It's something I haven't really played with before. We should have made a poll for the chat to say, when did you order yours?
Yeah, that takes planning.
Right? Which
I'm totally rusty too. I don't know. Folks can probably tell. I'm just like, oh wait, what do I do again? So, but it's nice to get back into this. And of course, I always appreciate hanging out with you, Oz.
Absolutely.
It has been a while. So let me go ahead and
yes.
Let's just sort of look at Wukong with a couple of other characters that's mixed in, other figures. So, we got the monkeys. An armored monkey with dope armor deserves another monkey with armor. So let me get this going to kind of hang out with, right? So we've got Kali and Sun Wukong.
Man.
And they'll come back around soon enough. And let's see. The only other sort of I have Pale somewhere, but unfortunately,
is he still rocking the shorts?
No, that's not me. That's
that's right. That was Adam.
That was Adam.
Adam had the acid wash shorts on.
Awesome.
It was fantastic though.
Man, where is Pale? But
I mean, and again, you're looking at two different styles of sculpting.
Yep.
So it's certainly not showing that one is lesser than the other. It's a completely different look that they're going for.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely more of an illustrated look. I will say This is what happens when, you don't put a ton of, focus, of additional paint to bring out the details.
The little details.
Yeah. I mean, you can see this thing is gorgeous. Again, great sculpt work. A lot of it doesn't get pulled out because you don't have that sort of wash in there.
Right.
That
but wash really brings out
looks.
Those textures. Mm-hmm. But again, it's not pulling anything away from the sculpting work that has gone into anything that Jason has been doing over with AWOC.
Yep.
It's still a fantastic, gorgeous figure. And now he's got another contender for the throne there in a way,
Yeah, I really love the armor in Kali, and it's so cool to sort of see the horsemen's take on doing this kind of golden armor and see them side by side.
Right.
But yeah, as far as figure comparisons, I love to mix lines. You know, I'm all about that. So, and they're all generally in this sort of 6-7 inch range, mainly 7-inch, closer to a 110.
Yep.
You know, and it's not all about monkeys. I put Xenothon on there, but he's kind of a monkey-ish, monkey adjacent creature, if you will.
As I showed when I popped that head on Sun Wukong's body, it fit in very well.
Yep. Oh man, sorry, Thanos. Mainly Wave 2, right? Those will be coming soon.
Yep, they are on the way. Well, working their way. On the way.
Yep.
With good reason, man. They're gorgeous figs. I just, I'm spread a little too thin right now for that, and it's unfortunate because they are gorgeous. And I love them.
Yeah. Here's just another take, just as far as fur, right? I brought him up for a couple of reasons, just because he is super cute. But this is Nubs from the what is it? The Young Jedi? No, what is it called?
High Republic?
Jedi Adventures. Jedi Adventures.
That's it.
Yes, and it takes place during the High Republic, and but this is a kids line. But I just wanted to show all the cool little fur details.
Right.
and how you can take very different approaches, right? More simple,
Yes.
cartoony approach, super highly detailed, still not photorealistic, but like with a level of ratcheted up detail closer to photorealism.
Right.
Anyway, look at and I'm trying to think what else I have maybe to compare, but not a whole lot. Oh, here I'll take out. I have her on hand.
There you go. Another gorgeous figure. And then, you got stuff like this right here. Some TMNT Motu crossover.
What? I love that. I love that you have that.
Oh man, it's so fantastic. And he's made a Donatello now. He's made a Shredder. So he's working his way down the line. He's got some other cool stuff on the way.
Oh man, I love the customizing community. So talented.
Yes.
So just wanted to show folks, like these figures, if you're not familiar, are compatible with other lines. I didn't mention this earlier, but Sun Wukong definitely, he's built on the same basic body type as this guy, Xenothon. However, his limbs are shorter, and so that gives that variety of scale a little bit. He is a monkey after all, and you sort of see him and his height compared to some of the other figures. You got Evil Lyn from the Masterverse line.
Yeah, and of course,
Tiberius, Ewok.
That Masterverse line being that more 7-inch scale, whereas again, your Legions are more the 6-inch scale, with some of the figures going into the taller ranges based on body type and build, for what it is. So, and again, even with AWOC, you've got that more, again, closer to like a 7-inch scale.
Mm-hmm.
And they all look really, really good together.
Yep. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of like, I wanted to open this figure up for sure. I'm going to need time to kind of look at this a little bit more. I'm probably going to do a separate video where I kind of like break down maybe the articulation, do a little bit something closer to a quote unquote review.
Right.
Spoiler alert, the review is
without even having to do further inspection.
Yeah,
this figure is awesome.
Yep. Absolutely awesome, if you will. Comes with a bunch of stuff. So look out for that. I think though, I think it's probably a good time here to kind of like wind the stream down a little bit. I'll let you take a look a little bit more at these guys as they sort of spin around. But Sun Wukong, dope figure. What's your general take? What are your feelings on Sun Wukong by the Four Horsemen?
Really, like, this figure just means so much, in a lot of different ways. Like I said, I've been affected by the story of this character my whole life. And to finally get such an amazing version of him in hand and be able to have a display piece for it now too. Like, I actually want to go out and find a nice copy of the book to display with this.
Ooh,
because I think that would look really good with it. Yep. Just again, like, overall for breakdown, I think this figure is one of the best I've seen yet, with the details and everything else that has gone in it. It's really, really up there more than most. And with all the new parts that came with it, because we all know that the Four Horsemen are not shy about parts reuse.
Nope.
So I can't wait to see what they're going to come out with next using these parts.
Yep.
But Sun Wukong knocks it out of the park completely. Like, this is probably going to be one of my top contenders for figure of the year. Hands down.
Yeah, it's fun to hear you say that. That's exactly when I was sort of like writing out the description for the video and the stream, right? Like, I know it was a little bit presumptuous, but I've been looking at the coverage, and there's not a whole lot of surprises here. I'll tell you that so far. I mean, I obviously I'm a little bit distracted, sort of trying to run the stream and all that stuff. But pretty much like it's what I expected, and it's amazing. Like this figure is definitely a standout figure. I said that it could potentially be the figure of the year for me, and yep, nothing has changed.
It's living up to that.
Yeah, it is living up to that. And I'll probably speak a little bit more on this stuff later, but the sort of significance of this figure for me personally, I love it. I absolutely love it. Other folks in here, I forget who was, it might have been, were saying that, like Mythic Legions has done other characters from pulled out of sort of Asian mythology, like the Jin character. And it's true. We haven't gotten that figure in hand.
No, they've just
true.
started to dabble.
Yep.
It's
but
just
this is like
what's to come.
Yeah. And this is straight up like also, yeah, absolutely. This is a sign of what's to come. And this is also like this character in particular, it's a significant character that has played a pretty big role in sort of like the spreading of Eastern philosophy.
Yes.
Not to mention like its presence in pop culture that we've kind of all talked about already. So yeah, on multiple levels, this figure is dope. This figure is just dope. I don't know. I can't think of other adjectives. It's great.
I took some pictures earlier. Unfortunately, they didn't really come out in a scale that'll work for my IG. So I'm going to get some better pictures here. I'm going to take a better picture of the story on the back of the box for people, and I'll post that over on IG.
Nice.
So for those of you who are curious, we'll be able to get the abridged version of the tail.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see kind of more what this is about. And again, you'll just get some more pictures of the overall box and everything like that. Brick, he's going to do a more detailed video. We're going to fill you guys in on just why the Monkey King is amazing.
Yep. So, hey, on that note, why don't you tell us, and let's wind down now. Thank you to everyone who's sort of who's been hanging out. I think I was able to call out everyone. So super happy to sort of see you all, and always, as always, appreciate you taking time out of your day to kind of check out what's going on the channel. You're mentioning that you're going to be putting some stuff on Instagram. Where is that? And then what else do you got coming up this week?
Well, of course, you can find me at Ozstradamus Toyz on IG. Yep. You can follow me on there. You can find me on Facebook, but that's under my government name, and I don't use that on camera. So you'll still find me there. Follow me on Twitter. Coming up the rest of this week, guys, we got Toy Frenzy tomorrow night, as it is Toy Frenzy Eve, and there is a frenzy of brewing. So come catch me out on Skelevator's channel over there tomorrow night. Yep. Then we also will be doing an Ozstradamus Toyz live this upcoming weekend. Might be a different bit of a special format coming on, because there's a lot of moving parts this weekend. Still haven't quite planned everything out, but we'll definitely be getting together live on Saturday as well.
Okay. All right. And so, yeah, basically every Thursday you can find Oz over on Skelevator.
Yep.
On Skelevator's channel over in Toy Frenzy, as you said. It's because I love the schedule. Like in my brain, I want to have a TV guide of ToyTube. And then every Saturday, you're usually online for multiple hours, and oftentimes with plenty of
I'll take
guests.
up a quarter of your day.
But a really fun quarter of the day.
It's always fun.
So there's that. And then for me, things are a little bit irregular. I'm trying to come up with a little bit more consistent schedule, but I am going to be doing a ton more unboxing because it's summer. I've got a little bit of a break from my day job. So I want to bank and just get a lot more of these things unboxed and share stuff with you. So look out for more of the Unbox Something. Some of them will be live streams, but many of them probably will be just pre-recorded and up there. A little bit more concise, so you don't have to hear me babble. Let's see. I've got a couple of things in the works with longer form interviews, again, with Allison Troy, who was in the chat today, and Fanagan Collectibles, who are both here. look out for those. I don't know when those will drop, but hopefully they'll be coming soon. I will tell you for a fact, and I'm holding myself to this. This Sunday will be a brand new episode of AWOC Talk. So if any of these figures that were up here earlier are intriguing you, and you're like, what is the deal with that cat and that monkey? And you want to learn more, Adam from Highly Articulated and I do a series of episodes called AWOC Talk. There'll be a brand new one this Sunday on my channel. All that to say is that there's going to be a little bit more happening than has happened in the last basically 2 months here on Brick Something. So keep an eye out for that. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll see all that, including the community posts that I'd like to try and let folks know about. Also, Instagram, brick.something. Add me over there. And that's the main things, I think. Yeah. Again, Oz, I deeply appreciate you always joining me on my channel. I hope that we get to do the OzBrick thing regularly, because frankly, I just think it's a fun as hell graphic to to kind of use, so I'm having fun with that.
I am all about it. Anytime you want to slap us together for something, I'm always excited to see how creatively you put us together next. Because when you showed me the graphic for today, I was like, oh my God, how did you make something that was already so ridiculous even more ridiculous?
Ridiculous or no? Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And then, so yeah, I think that's gonna be. Oh, and I always love sort of like hanging out over there. So like you'll probably see me over on Oz's channels on Saturdays whenever whenever there's space and we're able to. Yep. So
always an open invite for you, brother.
Yeah. Before we go, I will say that as Allison, because Allison is a little bit of a shill for AWOC, if you haven't realized. Allison will never shut up about Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. So I'm going to go ahead and indulge her and just sort of highlight this comic, because I really know that she's just always just trying to find a way to talk about Animal Warriors of the Kingdom by Spiro Toys. Check it out, people. AWOC is the new.
Don't be sleeping on this.
Yes. All right, folks. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you all joining us. Definitely look out for that. Thank you, Cutthroat Comics. It was awesome to have you here for the first time. Hope to see you more regularly. Thank you, Nolan. Nolan is a diehard. We see him everywhere, and I appreciate hanging out with him. So thank you to everybody who was here, Eldor and all the gang. You'll see me, Eldor, and Oz hopefully soon on another episode of Legions class. Take a look for that. And I think that's pretty much it. So thanks again, folks. Deeply appreciate you all. Always a pleasure. Oz, you're amazing. And let's go ahead and close it out with this gorgeous, gorgeous image.
I know. Oh.
All right, folks. Thank you all so much. We will see you next time. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your Wednesday. Toy Frenzy tomorrow. Peace.
See ya.
And yeehaw.